technology that has been very valuable for you in terms of driving, that great customer experience has been the development of the AllSaints app. I'd love to hear a little bit more, James, about the development of that app, which was rolled out, correct me if I'm wrong, last year. There's been some real success in the uptake among your customers, many, many thousands of downloads. So what's been the secret sauce, I guess, behind its popularity of this app?
I'll go backwards slightly. I just put it into context a little bit as to where the app came from and where the focus came from. So, as I mentioned, I've been with AllSaints for just a shade over 4 years, and at that stage, we were operating an e-com platform that was in-house written and was a real restriction on what we wanted to do. So during 2021, if I've got my years correct, we did a whole re-platform from an e-com perspective from a bespoke platform onto Salesforce Commerce Cloud so that we got a good stance of and the right access to an ecosystem in terms of technologies to sort of support the customer. We used to have, or did have at that stage, a fairly basic consumer app that wasn't pushed that hard. It was an experiment rather than a focus, I think, at that stage. And it had some limitations, both in terms of functionality, but also in terms of platform, because it was only available on iOS. So we made the decision that we wanted to focus on a consumer app properly. We wanted to put some differentiation into that consumer app versus a browser-based experience. And therefore, as you mentioned, we picked up the new store one, which had the benefit from us initially of being very tightly integrated to Salesforce, so it removed a bunch of the overhead associated with that. Launched that, and it's gone very well. The key thing from us, from an app perspective, is that there is naturally a little bit of a barrier to a consumer about using an app because they've got to make a decision they want to download it. So you've got to put some value into it so it's worthwhile them downloading it. And I think one of the big benefits that we get from a brand perspective is that anybody who's going to put the effort in to download an app as that initial first decision point tends to be a good advocate or a good have a good level of engagement with your brand if they're going to make that step. So it almost gave us, or has given us, a good insight into who a subset of our very well engaged customers are with us as a brand. So it's almost become self-identifying in that way that if you've made that step. Now, commercially, it has a big benefit. I mean, the conversion rate that we see through an app is significantly higher, which is obviously great from our perspective. Again, bear in mind that small caveat of it tends to be a very engaged customer who does that, so you'd expect it to be a bit higher. But we've seen that go far beyond that. We like to try and bring the customer into us as a brand. I mean, AllSaints is a brand, and I can say this having been there for 4 years now, is that it really gets under your skin. And we have a huge consumer base who come back again and again to us as we develop the sort of the product that we do. So that continued engagement and that continued tie-in with the brand, we find is very important to that customer group. So we try and increase that engagement. And what we want to do is, and where we're trying to drive towards, is provide almost access for the customer inside us of an organization. So Pete, the CEO, talks about a lovely analogy of the old style wooden doll's house, the ones that you could take the front off. So imagine you can sort of take the front off the business and see inside what we're doing. We have an in-house atelier who's making garments in our head office in London. So being able to provide what we want to move towards is providing access to that sort of visibility. I have an idea, which I haven't got to yet, but I'd love to, imagine a virtual back row of access at one of the 2 runway shows that we run every year. So that engaged customer gets an opportunity to join on that sort of thing. So we've got lots of ideas we're working towards in terms of how we use the app to generate that. I hesitate to use the word loyalty because it comes with an inference that goes with it. And I don't mean it's sort of you're buying things to get prizes. but it's we want to reward that engagement, and we want to reward our customers for the faith that they show in us as a brand.